from that. They've actually kept the iPhone as the benchmark for this design, and they've sort of taken from that. And it's not a bad design. In fact, it is a very premium looking device. It appears to be very premium. It behaves like a very premium device, and it actually feels like a really premium device. So let's get into the hardware of the E6 and talk about what powers this device and what all is on it. So if we talk about the inside, we have a MediaTek 6589T chipset, which is a turbo version of the 6589 chipset. So you get 1.5 gigahertz on the quad cores, and it seems to be fairly responsive and snappy for the device. We also get 2 GB of RAM, which is incredible because most of the players in the market offer only 1 GB of RAM. You get a full HD display over at the front, which is also really impressive because in most cases you get a 720p display. So you get a 5-inch full HD display, decent processor, 2 gigs of RAM, and 32 GB of inbuilt storage, which is not expandable. So the fact that you can't expand the storage will be a downside for a lot of people, and the fact that the battery is non-replaceable is a downside for some people. 20 milliamp hour on the battery life, so you get a 20 milliamps on the battery, which is pretty good for this device. Now let's get into usability and performance. So the device actually runs a customized or a custom skin version of Android 4.2, and the company is working really hard to give out Android 4.3. Now this is slightly different from the Android OS or the Amigo UI that Gionee had promised when we saw the device earlier. Visiting China, we saw the device, it was running the new Amigo UI that these guys have been working on. In fact, the Chinese version of the E6, which is already available in China, does have the Amigo UI, and it is a fantastic overlay over Android, and it actually offers a lot of things that have unfortunately not been ported to the global version or the Indian version of the device. So a slight bit of disappointment there, because the UI you see here is sort of the same UI available on the E5 as well. So in terms of responsiveness, it is not the best. In fact, the Amigo UI is a lot faster. Now, if you get into the camera, you'll see that the camera is fairly responsive and it does a good job of clicking pictures, etc. And you do have this card style layout, which lets you quit running applications simply by scrolling them up. So they've tried and added a bunch of nifty features, but somehow these features also slow down the performance and sort of bring down the overall appeal of the device. So I can press this button to pull out my running applications in a card style format, which also sort of inspires again from what the iPhone offers. So if you double tap on that, on the home button on the iPhone, you get a card style layout in iOS 7, whereas in Palm, you had this with the Palm Pre about 2 to 3 years ago. So whether it takes it from Palm or whether it takes it from the new iPhone layout, you have this multi-card design which lets you scroll up to quit and a running application, which is a fun way or a fun task manager to get around. So from the overall usage perspective, the phone is very responsive and you have a nice and large dialer. It is really easy to use and network performance is really good on this device. In fact, if you get into messaging over here, you'll see that the keyboard is fairly nice and convenient to type on. They have sort of customized the keyboard. Again, it is sort of identical to what you see on the iPhone, but it also retains the Android layout over here. So you get a stock Android sort of keyboard that has sort of been skinned to appear like an iPhone keyboard that does function really well, and touch response is really good. You also have predictive text that works really well. You can also convert from portrait to landscape. There is a slight lag there as well. So the device is not the most responsive, and I will agree to that. The device is not the most responsive. But one thing I like is the fact that the soft buttons are not within the screen, they're at the bottom, so it doesn't take away from the real estate. Also, a lot of unwanted applications have been loaded onto the device, which I am not really happy about. So NQ mobile security, UC browser, these things I personally don't want on my device. Another feature of the overall interface is that you don't have an app drawer. So everything or all your apps are laid out on your home screen like so, like you would see on an iPhone. So again, the UI is inspired from an iPhone and you don't have an app drawer to go to. But you can go into all the set of settings that you can for Android. So you can go into your settings over here. So you get a list of common settings that you would use on a daily basis. So you can jump into wireless LAN or Bluetooth, ringtone or a display, and then choose or change the settings of common things, or you can go into all.
Ciao a tutti, sono Alessandro, vediamo qui di fronte a voi l'Xperia Z2, l'ultimo top di gamma della casa giapponese, con diverse novità. Abbiamo un display da 5.25 pollici Full HD, TFT come tecnologia, che supera i 400 ppi come densità di pixel. Abbiamo anche tutta una nuova interfaccia con nuove animazioni e nuovi menu. Come potete vedere scorrendo a sinistra con lo slide del drawer abbiamo tutta una nuova serie di scorciatoie, le più usate, Ordina, Play Store, Sony Select, la possibilità di disinstallare eccetera. Abbiamo inoltre il nuovo Snapdragon 801 spinto a 2.3 GHz e abbiamo i soliti 2 GB di RAM. Abbiamo inoltre una fotocamera posteriore da ben 20.7 megapixel, assolutamente un sensore della stessa Sony, e un design che non si discosta troppo dallo Z1 precedente. Come potete vedere abbiamo linee leggermente più morbide sui lati con i bordi smussati. Presto dovrebbe arrivare anche in Italia ad un prezzo che dovrebbe aggirarsi dai 500 ai 699 euro. Per il resto abbiamo anche un nuovo dialer che si sposa molto da vicino con il dialer dell'Android 4.4. Abbiamo inoltre alcune applicazioni preinstallate come la radio FM, il track ID e tutta una serie di life log che ci permette di utilizzare anche il nuovo accessorio di Sony che vedremo successivamente, e tutta un'altra serie di applicazioni. Abbiamo anche un'animazione, come potete vedere, dello sfondo sensibile al nostro movimento. Per il momento è tutto, vi rimandiamo poi alla nostra futura video recensione.